Updates making feast. Roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back. There's a W in the track. The Catdets spitting facts. Got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP. We're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture. Let's make some more. Catdets corner. Soju color. All the baddies is a lady. Pull up, he's a lady. Kill you, may also know him as that. Chatting with Kash on the back end. How it's gonna add up. Change it like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse. Like an OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas. Started the expansion. Looking like a blast man. It's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I just think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making feast. Roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back. There's a W in the track. The Catdets spitting facts. Got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP. We're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show me. Wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making feast. Roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back. There's a W in the track. The Catdets spitting facts. Got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP. We're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show you mean it. Stay in culture. Let's make some more. Catdets corner. Soju color. All the baddies is a lady. Pull up, he's a lady. Kill you, may also know him as that. Chatting with Kash on the back end. How it's gonna add up. Change it like a cat. Gotta say I'm glad I was in the Jupiverse. Like an OG status and I'm still up on the path. Cooking over gas. Started the expansion. Looking like a blast man. It's fun to be a cat. If you ain't one yet, you should stick around for that. When my name turned red, I felt the first passion. I just think we'll get it moving on. Making do some music and the cats like it's a groove. Truly, cats looking like a little movie. Life getting changed, that's how he said he do it. We got wins here every week. I've been saying that it's heat. Every call I be getting geeked. I'm in thrall for every speaker. Updates making feast. Roof raise, can you see it? Luck ain't even in it. This is just a bunch of heavy lifting. So look, it's a Wednesday running back. There's a W in the track. The Catdets spitting facts. Got the Catholic culture on the map. There ain't no PvP. We're preaching PvP. If you want COC, you better show me.
What's up, everybody? How we feeling? How we living? It's good to be back here on the Planetary call. Wake in the chat. Oh my God. What's going on? Sunburst to Wooksy Phil. Uncle Phil. Always good to have you, Uncle Phil. You were very much like a father figure to me in many ways. We got Kenley and Elle and the homie Will in the building. I see you, Foie Gras, always here bright and early. Folks, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm an honest man. This is going to be a big call. This is a big one. We have a surprise thing that I want to bring up right now. I'm going to tell folks who are here early and punctual. You're going to see it very soon. I'm going to be talking about some major changes to the JUP token and how it's going to use going forward, addressing a lot of the token holder concerns. I've been saying we've been listening, and I promise you're about to see some of that as well. So we're going to talk about that today for the first time. We're going to have the MET homies on today. Soju and surprise special guest Zen is going to be here as well, talking about the MET TGE, which is next week. Then we're going to have the homie Justin. He stayed up late. He's in, I don't actually want to dox his location, but he's in the Far East, let's just say, to talk about OGP, which a lot of you have had questions about. And then we have a fan favorite. We got Minko Draws here for Catdets Corner. It is going to be a banger one. So here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to spread good vibes in the chat. Drop a little W right now if you haven't already, just to warm up that W key. Retweet the stream, like the stream, or do whatever else the influencers tell you to do. That would be the time to do it, is right now. And we're going to get going very shortly. But obviously, before we can do that, there's one very important thing that we must do. And that is play the unofficial Cadet theme song. Let's go. gets me hyped up, and it's did the job today as well. My students told me this is funk music, says RJ. Cultural anthropologist RJ. Thank you and thank your students, I guess, for really making it happen here. We have got a big one today, folks. My goodness. My name is Kash Donda. I am the cat herder over here at Jupiter. Apparently angry sometimes. Apparently a little bit bloated sometimes. I think this was from Catdets, so I'd slept like 3 hours in 3 days. Hence my look there. And yes, it is true. I slept through the flash crash. I was violently ill. Apologize if you're watching this and I haven't replied to your DMs. That is why. But I'm going to be your host here today as we go through the Planetary call. If you're new around here, welcome. It's great to have you. Let me tell you about how this is going to work. This call is all about celebrating the people, the products, the partners that make the Jupiverse so great. And today we got quite a bit of great stuff to talk about. Let me tell you that. Here's the agenda for the day. Now with emojis. This is maybe my most valuable contribution to the Planetary call in some time. We now have emojis in the agenda. So we're going to start with this week in the Jupiverse. It's actually the last 2 weeks in the Jupiverse because we do this every other week now. Then we're going to talk about a fresh start for JUP, the token. We have some tangible, concrete changes that we're going to make based on a lot of your ideas and a lot of our deep consideration at the team side. Then we're going to go through counting down to MET. It is only 8 days away, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be extremely exciting. Yes, they like the agenda. That's good to see. And then we're going to have a partner spotlight with Justin, legendary founder, Open Game Protocol, now live for you to go check out. We're doing some fun stuff with them through Jupiter. And then we're going to have Catdets Corner at the very end. And Martin, the only reason I look good is all this Photoshop that the Goatfish people put around me. So thank you to them. Yes, Scarlett says, oh, wow, we're going to talk about the token. We've only done that a handful of times. That is correct. We're not going to talk about the token price too much. We'll talk about it a little bit, actually. So yeah, this is going to be a first of its kind, in a sense. Scarlett is absolutely right. When is the next vote, says AB1. Stick around. You're going to find out in about 15 minutes. As I say, it's going to be a big one over on this side. I can promise you that. Big week. Let me just say, I started the big week thing. It has grown beyond me. I don't tweet it on any of the official accounts. Do not blame me. The only legitimate, like Chardonnay, must come from a very specific neighborhood in France. Big week must come from a very specific account, aka my account, for it to be a true big week. Or the Solana main handle, that also counts. All right. Okay. Let's get into it here. Let's start first with a little quick recap on anything that you might have missed over the last 2 weeks. And by the way, it was a lot. It was a very large amount of stuff. First, the major announcement here: JUP USD. Jupiter is getting its very own stablecoin, folks. This is a giga big deal. I'm going to need a W in the chat. Mike the Gambler ahead of the game as usual. And Mike, you stick around in particular. You're going to like, I think, what we have to say in a little bit here. JUP USD, our own stablecoin. We're building it in partnership with Athena, the fastest growing stablecoin that's out there. One of the craziest growth stories in all of crypto over the last, 18 months or so. Incredible that they've been able to do it. And we're going to use it in a bunch of different places. Jupiter Perps has about $750 million of stablecoins. That's a great place for JUP USD to go. Liquidity in Jupiter Lend. Shout out to the lenders out there. And integration into a product that I can't talk about right now without Julian and Siong and a few other people murdering me. So this is a very big deal. I got to tell you, people are going to really dig this. I think it came together with Athena in the span of like 10 days or something like that. Shout out to Guy. We had a lot of fun working on this together. Launching in Q4. It's not live yet. So hold off. Don't buy anything that says it like that. Second big thing that happened over the last 2 weeks, the Jupiter wallet extension is now live. This is something that people have been asking for ever. The most advanced Solana wallet, gasless trading. I can't stress how big of a deal gasless trading is. I know it seems like a little bit of money, but if you are like me and you have lots and lots of wallets to preserve some privacy on chain, it is an incredible feature to be able just to have any tokens come to a wallet and then you can send them out, trade them, do whatever else you want, all right there. Built-in P&L, the only wallet that has that, by the way. Super low fees. I think 1/8 of the competition, 1/8 to 1/10 of the competition, and a deep integration with Jupiter products. It is an early stage product. And you've heard me say this before, no Jupiter product is born perfect. They're all born ugly. And only through feedback and iteration do they start to get better. That is what we're going to see here. Big shout out to Aaron CQL. who basically built this single-handedly while also running like a 25 person team. And Guam is right, missing best activity. Excuse me, I apologize for that. Has incredible activity details that no one else has. This is huge. Mac Will, you were born ugly. You're beautiful. PFP for sure. NFTs coming very soon. Let me promise you that as well. But big shout out to Aaron. If you haven't already checked this out, please do. It was 10,000 users in the first few days. I know it's already past, I think it's past 15 or 20 now. I'm not exactly sure the numbers. But we need more people to know about it. Not enough people know about it. If you haven't tried it already, you're going to love it. Jupe Mobile is correct. That is also true. Boost the algo, spam the chat with good questions. Shout out. Ooh, words. That's a good shout. All right. So stablecoin coming, mega massive deal. There are entire giant companies that just do stablecoins. It's but one piece of the DeFi super app here. Jupiter Wallet, again, there are entire companies built around just wallets. We just shipped one. We think that you're going to really dig it. And then next up, search on jup.ag actually got upgraded itself. Let me pull this up so people can see this. This is the Google of Solana DeFi, said Jojo, our guy. Looks super cool. Anytime you search for something now on jup.ag, it's going to show you not just the tokens, but the other things across the product suite that you might want to discover. So you search for Sol. Hey, we'll tell you how much you can borrow and lend Sol for if you want to. You want to search for individual products, they'll show up right there. So it's kind of like a global search. I mean, it is a global search or universal search to make this happen. Joe, Youngjae, Weiren, and Kevin really cooked on this one. I think it is super cool and people should check it out. There was, of course, a flash crash. Condolences to anyone that got wiped out over the last few days, over the weekend. But you know who did not get wiped out? Anyone on Jupiter Lend did not get wiped out. No bad debt. There were about $1.5 million in total liquidations, which is not too much given we have $1.4 billion in supply or so. But all those liquidations happened entirely smoothly. The flash crash was basically the biggest event since FTX. And our product, which is in public beta, held up just as well as things that have been around for years. That is the quality of the tech that you folks are using if you are using Jupiter Lend. Shout out to the Fluid team. Shout out to the OWN team. Bullish on the Jup Lend liquidation engine. This is absolutely, this is very impressive stuff, folks. To be pressured, I'll be honest with you, it would have been nice if the first kind of battle test was like a smaller crash rather than the biggest crash in years. But we're built for this. This is why we do the audits. This is why we spend the months reviewing the code. This is why we bring in all the experts. We bring the best of the best to build stuff so that the products really work super well. Check tech, good tech. That's right. Perps has also gotten better. And I want to give a special shout out. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but spam a little Molu in the chat for me. These new cards are because of one man, and that man's name is Molu, who yelled at us repeatedly for how bad the fucking P&L cards used to be on Jupiter Perps. That's what we love to see. Jupiter Perps now has not only new P&L cards, which look fun and sexy, and you can kind of pick which little guy you want to use, but you can also but you can also now get up to 250x leverage. Please use that with caution, folks. 250x leverage is insane. And most importantly, lower fees here. The fees just keep getting lower and lower. I think we've made 3 or 4 different improvements to the fees over there. Julian, my guy Anyhow, and KK been crushing over on that side. Jupiter Perps, bigger, better than ever. Speaking of bigger, better than ever, goddamn. There's a lot of companies out there where any one of these announcements would be all they did in 2 weeks. And we've done like 4 or 5, and JLP loans got better as well. JLP loans is a massive product. People dramatically underestimating how great it actually is. To improve capital efficiency for borrowers and safety for the LPs, the max LTVs have actually increased from 80 to 90%. That's the max loan to value ratio. So you can borrow more USDC against your JLP. And the liquidation LTV has gone up from 86% to 95%. And if that wasn't enough, liquidation penalty has been reduced as well to just 2% from 6%. Love to see this. Chaos Labs, shout out to those guys. Discuss.jup.ag. You can see all the details over there. But JLP loans, excellent, excellent product. Oh, okay. Soju and Zen have just emerged backstage. Interesting. I see them getting ready. And Soju's wearing pants. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you were here for Soju to wear his classic shorts on the podcast, but okay. This is a funny joke to me and Soju. I can see him laughing backstage, and that's about it. Anyway, let's get back into it. Jupiter Mobile growth arc, yet more bullish news. My God. Allergic to all this news. Goddamn. Jupiter Mobile continuing to crush, continuing to grow, more than 200,000 MAUs at this point, and I think the number is just going up and to the right vertically right now. Kicked off a new wave of growth experiments, working hand in hand with other great communities. Right now, if you are a major Pengu holder and you are able to migrate in, there's going to be a Pengu airdrop worth up to $115,000 just for you. If you have a lot of Pengu, put it into Jupiter Mobile. You are going to like that one for sure. This is going to keep getting bigger and better. Meow texting me at a time when I really would appreciate if he did not text me. So I'm going to quickly make sure nothing is on fire. Well, the images aren't loading. Sorry, Meow. Okay, anyway. Next up, my guy Genesis was in the chat already. You know that he does not sleep. He only makes life better for all of you Jupiter portfolio users. Global search integrated directly into portfolio now, so you can search for meow.soul, which is not, I don't think it's Meow's wallet, but you can put that in there if you want to. Better yield calculations and breakdowns, and a new quick report button also over here. We got a small spotlight. Go on whenever time you're in the spotlight. It's a big spotlight, my guy. I'd love to see that. Jupiter Studio also gearing for a V1 rollout, building towards 3 verticals now. Meme coin launches, custom launches, and DTF. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm going to say it anyway. The first DTF launch partner has been selected, and it's coming in the coming weeks. Get prepared for that. I know there's a lot of ICO mania right now. We're going to turn that into DTF mania. I can promise you that. And then once Studio stabilizes the leading product, 50% of those fees are going to go towards the Litterbox. Shout out to everyone over there. JUP Net and the JUP VM got their very first blog post introducing the JUP VM. This is at the heart of JupNet. Of course, I don't have time to go into it right now, but I do want to see people go check this out. Nick, Blake, and the rest of the JupNet team put in some work over here. New Twitter page, x.com/JupNet. We can go check that out. We were out there at KBW, on Apex and Token 2049. P.S. We're announcing the dates and location for Redacted very soon. I'm going to tell you this. The location of the next community conference, Cat Temple, will be revealed next Tuesday. There you go. We're waiting on the exact dates based on the venue availability, so stay tuned to there. But yes, folks, we are doing another major conference in January. It is going to be an absolute killer. I can promise you that. And then actually, this is an important one for folks who have been with us for a little while. Jup stakers continue to eat, and now they're going to be able to drink here. The Rect/Jupiter cases have begun shipping. The tokens that came along with that that's gone well, let me tell you. For anyone that had access to that, absolutely beautiful here. All stakers who pre-order will receive their cases soon. Custom cases over here, which is great. Shout out to my guy OSF. We're partnering with When Shift Happens. People might have missed this. Leading Web3 podcast, now becoming the leading Web4 podcast as well. Shout out to my guy Kevin, who is the best. We are entering a long-term partnership. People, if you haven't listened to When Shift Happens, you absolutely should. I think it's pretty great. Oh, AG says, I got my Rect package and it tastes great. There we go. That is good to see. And then I think this is the last one here. ASR for Q3 is now live. If you were a staker in Q3, well done to you. 50 million Jup distributed according to your time-weighted stake through the past quarter. YY and Morton put a lot of work into making this happen. Love to see it. Molu, you're here. I don't know if you missed the shout out that I gave you, buddy. I've never done this before. For one man in the chat, I'm going to rewind just so he can see the new P&L cards that I said were exclusively because of you, Molu. So shout out to you for yelling at us until we got this done. And Genesis, as always be shilling. If you already use Jupiter Portfolio, you already knew about ASR because it's going to show up right there. All right, let's go. That is about it for right now. Thank God, because that was a lot of stuff. I'm not going to lie. All right, I'm going to get into my next segment here. We'll do this. Then we're going to hear from Soju and Zen at MET about the MET TGE that's coming up next week. Then we're going to hear from Justin, the founder of OGP, the Open Game Protocol, and we have Cadet Corner as well. But we got a new thing that we're going to talk about here, first time ever, a fresh start for JUP. Now, this is the first time I'm saying this. This is breaking news. I'm going to tell you that right now. At the end of the segment, I'm going to hit tweet, and then I would love everyone's support of that tweet, obviously, but let's go. GG says, can you please reassure this 216 JUP staker that Meow is alive and well? I can assure you he is alive and well. I talked to him a bunch today. Alone. He's doing just fine. A lot of stuff internally that we've been working on that he's been grinding. Let me assure you of that. Okay. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I'm not going to lie to you because this is kind of a big one for us over here. So, as you can see, I'm still a little bit sick. All right, first start for JUP. Here we go. This one and this whole update is really for the token holders. All right. We know it has not always been easy, and especially lately, it's not been the best thing to be a JUP token holder. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to hide away from that fact. But we appreciate the support, the continued faith the aggressive shilling. For those of you who are still doing that, that's what we love to see. Send some love in the chat, folks. That's right. We have some ideas, but before we kind of go into those ideas on how we're going to bring some concrete, tangible changes that many of you have asked for to the table, I want to give a little bit of context, right? I think it's important before we kind of move forward to understand how we got here. JUP as a token was initially designed to be the linchpin of the Jupiter DAO, right? We called it the Go token, really focused heavily on governance. And for a while that worked quite well, right? Like for those of you who were there, you know, the JUP DAO was the largest and most active DAO really in the history of DAOs. Hundreds of thousands of wallets participating on, you know, we had I think we had 25 votes or something like that over the course of a year and change. It's crazy. No one else was doing it at our scale or like this. And we pioneered new concepts, active stake and rewards, which now many other people have used, and a number of other ideas as well. It is still the largest as NFT TGE, and he's right to correct me on that. It is a major accomplishment fueled by a spirit of experimentation, right? We were trying things, we were fucking around and finding out and trying to see what worked and what didn't. And the truth is, as great as it was, and there was many great things that came out of it, there's no question about that, there were also some problems that only really became obvious and apparent over time. And, you know, we have to be honest and open about what those problems are. That's what transparency is all about. It's not about pretending that things were perfect at all times. It's about recognizing the reality of the situation. So in the earlier kind of approach to the JUP token, there were a few problems that we saw. The first was the mechanics of the governance turned away some potential holders from the token, right? Specifically, this was 30-day lockup. Especially large institutional funds sometimes had trouble being able to commit to that due to their own internal policies. The frequency of voting was another thing that people came back to us about repeatedly. They're like, hey, there's just too much. I cannot be constantly watching this. I need something that's a little bit more of a passive kind of investment, and so on and so forth. So the mechanics had some tricky problems. The amount of time and energy we spent on the DAO specifically in our public comms had a problem. I talked about this back when we paused the DAO a few months ago, but it really became the situation where every conversation about JUP was just a conversation about the DAO. And a lot of people loved that, and it was useful for sure, but there was also downsides to it, right? We missed out on being able to draw that light into the product suite, into the work that the community was doing, into the work that the token holders maybe weren't seeing, because a lot of it was being shielded by all this political talk, right? And let's just call a spade here. The budgeting votes for the work groups in particular were a problem. Now, I stand resolute here. I mean, I would not be involved in Jupiter if it wasn't for working groups. A lot of great people would not be a part of the Jupiverse if it was not for working groups. A lot of good work was done. But the truth is, those budgeting votes, even if they were for as small as like, you know, $20,000, created a massive divide between token holders and people who are kind of like active workers in the DAO. And they drew a lot of negative attention to Jup, right? Like that is the truth. All of these things combined had this primary kind of implication, which was the attention was consistently getting drawn away from the good stuff that was happening and towards the things that the token holders really didn't like. In the same period of this year, like from January until now, the Jupiter business has almost doubled. We've added, I think, like at least 5 or 6 new revenue-generating products that are making millions of dollars a year. In an industry where most teams as a whole don't make $1 million a year, we have multiple new products doing that. We've expanded our reach. We've expanded our user base. Volumes are up. Everything is up and to the right, except for the token, right? And it's because the token kind of was getting this negative attention rather than this positive attention. And I think that was problematic. So that is the truth. To move forward, we got to clear up some of those issues, and we want to keep and make sure that the good stuff remains, right? While the stuff that was kind of taken away was a bit of a problem. And people will know this if you're a long-time listener to the show. We've taken many steps in this direction in the past. We have 50% on-chain buybacks of Jup with the Jupiter revenues via Litterbox Trust, and there's more that can be done. So let's talk about the first thing. Major change number 1. We want to scale back the DAO. This is very different from getting rid of the DAO. We are still going to have voting, and as I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes, we're going to have a vote coming up pretty soon. But many Jup holders, what we've discovered after countless conversations with token holders is that many people believe deeply in the power of community governance. And I'll tell you quite frankly, we are not ready to just give up on governance just yet. We think that it can still be made to work, and we want your opinions and your energy to help change it, right? I heard you see people in the chat being like, no votes, run it like a business. As I say, there's always different opinions over here. But the conversations have also made clear that while governance is important, there was almost too much of it before, and not all of it really matters. So what we want to do first, major change, we're laser focusing. We're reshaping the DAO to only focus on extremely high leverage actions, right? No more kind of constant vote every week. You got to be glued to your screen to be a part of Jup as a token holder, especially for these kind of like smaller votes, right? Going forward, urgent community needs, broad tokenomics decisions, and critically treasury stewardship, the DAO treasury itself. Those are the only things that are going to get Jupiter DAO votes. That means no more work groups going forward, folks. I know this is a thing that a lot of people have asked for. Fewer overall votes are going to happen here, and more focus in our public comms on product and growth. We're going to try to find that balance. So rather than the DAO being the main meal of the Jupe token, it's going to be a part of the overall tasting menu. That's the kind of idea. So we keep people involved. We make sure that, especially on critical ideas, people in the community get a say, while still ensuring that we can have enough energy and time and attention to keep the real story on the growth of DeFi and the growth of Jupiter, which is really where that growth in the Jupe token is going to be coming from. I see some W's coming through right now. Shout out to my guy Fluffy. There, I should also say, we are also going to refocus the community. I know that a lot of folks in the community, and it was great to see that a lot of what it meant to be in the Jupiter community was to participate in DAO governance, right? And to talk about politics and so on and so forth. And that was good, and we want to keep that. But we also want to kind of refocus and get a fresh start to the community to focus on something grander, larger, and more concrete, onboarding the world to DeFi. And so Ali Cat, my guy, is going to be having some more stuff coming through over soon, okay? More substance, less words. I don't know what that means, but hopefully that's a good sign. All right. That's major change number one. Here's major change number two. A lot of people have been asking for it. We are reducing the unstaking period. Initially, the staking period, the unstaking window was 30 days on Stake Jupe. And that was important because we had very high ASR and we had a lot of governance votes. And we really were just trying to curate long-term holders as much as possible. But the truth is now, we're at this critical juncture where we don't just need more long-term holders. We need to create more long-term holders. And the 30-day unstaking window, we heard it from you guys, was time after time a thing that held some people back from really getting actively involved, right? Now that we're going to be doing fewer votes, now that we're going to be having a slightly different approach in how we go forward, where governance is not really at the center of the cause, we can bring that down, right? So 30 days was just too long. It is now going to be 7 days with no unstaking penalty whatsoever. I see the W's in the chat already here. 29 days, that'd be pretty funny. 7 days. This change is going to go live in the coming weeks. It'll apply to anyone who has already staked. And so that's going to be great. And as we can see, the chat is very excited about this. Trent said, what if I'm unstaking now? The truth is we're still figuring that part out. If you're already in the process of unstaking, how to kind of fix that should not be a major problem, but that's why we're not pushing this live today. We're gonna take a little bit, make sure all the edge cases are taken care of. But this is coming very soon. What does this mean for token holders? Well, it means that we still have some base level of alignment. We still have some base level of commitment. You're not just going to buy a bunch of Jupe and then dump a bunch of Jupe just to cast a vote and then immediately change. You're stuck for a little bit, but token holders get more of the flexibility that they need in order to actually go. Yeah, the chat is on fire. People are not joking around about that. This is big news, brother. But let me tell you, the biggest news is about to come. Major change number 3. Oh, hold on. Major change number 3. We want to burn the Litterbox tokens, subject to a DAO vote. Let me be very clear about that one. Burning the Litterbox tokens, subject to a DAO vote. The Litterbox right now, for those of you who don't know, takes 50% of Jupiter's on-chain revenues and puts them into a third-party entity called the Litterbox Trust, which then buys Jupe on the open market, currently holding 121 million tokens of Jupe, which is crazy. That is a lot. It's like 4% of the circulating supply, roughly. We've been doing this for the last, 6-7 months. And really, as we talk about burning the Litterbox, there are 2 questions that have to be untangled. That's right. People dig this. Yeah. Like I said, we heard you this whole time. We were not sitting back. We took your feedback seriously. I cannot tell you how many conversations we've had about this internally. There are pros and cons for sure. And I'll talk about those in a little bit. But the first question is, what do we do with the current holdings? Like I said, 121 million Jupe tokens are in the Litterbox right now. By the time we actually make this decision, it's probably going to be north of 130, 140. By far, the most common suggested solution here is to burn the tokens. This is, I think, a fairly universal kind of sentiment here. Somebody says, I'm not a fan of burning tokens, but if that's what's going to make people happy, let's have it. We're going to find out, right? So what we're going to do is have 2 separate votes upcoming. First one is going to be, what do we do with the current amount of tokens in there? And that's going to be very simple. It's going to be burn or not burn. That's it, right? I have a pretty strong sense. I think it'll pass, but as we already see in the chat, people are on different sides of the issue right now, which again is why we took our time with this. People have been yelling about this, but we didn't just jump right into it. We wanted to talk to a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different token holders, have a lot of deep, thoughtful conversations internally before coming to the table with this as an option. But that's not the only question. There's a second question, which is what do we do with the ongoing revenues? Because another thing that we heard in a lot of our conversations with you token holders was, hey, this JUP accumulation, it's not moving the price. The price is not moving up hundreds of percent. The truth is, it's a lot of money that's going in there. So there's been many ideas on what we might do with that 50% of revenue going forward. That 50% of revenue is still going to be split off, that's for sure. But the questions of what we do with it are a little bit more varied. Some people say, hey, just continuous buyback and burn from now until forever. Okay, that's one option. Other people are like, hey, if you just use that and you invested it into product growth, let's say into fee rebates, into marketing campaigns, and these other kinds of things, more people coming into Jupiter, growing the pie, that's going to be actually more effective as a mechanism than just burning those, right? That's another thing. And some other people want other use cases of the revenue as well. We're going to have a separate conversation about that in the coming weeks, but here's how this is going to actually go down. First, starting today, we're going to have a period of public discussion on burning the Litterbox, right? That's going to happen for the next roughly 10-ish days. We want to make sure the MET TGE is done before we go ahead. And then we'll have a formal vote for people who stake their JUP to decide, do we burn this or not? After that, we'll have a separate conversation and a separate discussion on whether or not we should, what to do with the ongoing 50% revenue split that goes back over here. So that is the alpha. So once again, the three major changes: first, scaling back the DAO, focusing just on the stuff that really matters, balancing out the politics and the product talk, and ensuring that things like work group budget votes do not distract or bring negative attention to the project any longer. Second major change, reducing that unstaking window from 30 days down to 7 days, effective in the next few weeks. Third major change, we're going to suggest or put up for a vote burning the Litterbox tokens that currently exist, and then a second vote around what to do with the ongoing revenues, whether that might be to burn or something else as well. How do we feel, chat? How do we feel? I haven't actually been able to read the chat because I was so focused on saying all this stuff. But let's see what people say. If you're feeling good, give me a little W in the chat. That also gives me time to put out my tweet. Everyone here heard it first. I'm just about to put out a tweet that says all of this to the rest of the world. Let me just double check and make sure I did not misspell anything or do anything crazy. Okay. Yes. Okay. Posted. God, I'm nervous about this one. It's a big one. Here's my ask. If you are on Twitter right now, please do like and retweet that post so more people can see it. I see a lot of people are very excited in here. Listen, folks, I'm going to just tell you straight up. The goal here is to kind of turn around the sentiment, right? I don't think there's a single person in crypto who looks at the Jupiter product suite and says anything other than those guys are fucking insane. Like, how do they do that? How do they ship this much? Nobody else can match it. That's a fact. Now we got to bring that same energy, that same sentiment back over to the JUP token. That's the direction that we want to go in here. But it only happens if people watching this, like you all who help make these changes happen, put out that bullish sentiment and get people excited, right? Don't forget, sentiment is fundamentally a social construct. It's fundamentally a social phenomenon. And we need your help to spread this news and the rest of the good news around Jupiter to get people excited and show this fresh start is where we're going. All right. Whew. Feeling good. I'm really scared because I really should not have tweeted like a giant essay while I'm in front of, how many people are on here right now? 7,000? Let's see, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. That is it. Now go to sleep, Kash. Yes, I will. No, we have a fucking killer rest of the show to go through. This is only but the first part. And the next part, honestly, is just as exciting, just as bullish. Let's go. Those are some major changes to JUP. Let's talk about the MET token. And here, I'm going to bring in the lady killer and the everyone killer. Please drop a little JM in the chat for my guys, Soju and Zen. How you doing, boys?
JM. Great. Who's the everyone killer? And who's the... You,
motherfucker. Sorry, I'm too excited. I shouldn't swear so much. You, I think everyone killer. Look at those biceps. Yeah. I don't even want to show my biceps right now when Zen's on camera.
Chat, I have a question for you. Is this Zen's first planetary call? Can you think?
Is it actually Zen?
Because when we were setting up for this call, he was like, I have never done this before. And I don't believe him.
I don't...
I think it's my
First of all, your mics aren't working. Let's just start with that. The mic that's picking up your audio is far away, or your audio is very quiet, I think. Second of all, how is that possible that Zen has never been on this call? That is insane to me. Clearly, somebody's got to be fired. because that is
our
an
mic is now
unacceptable.
working.
Testing.
Our mic is now working.
Yes, that is nice.
GM.
That is very
Yeah,
nice.
it's his first time.
My first time.
I think it's actually his first time.
It's actually
That's
my first time.
crazy. Zen, well, to start people off, people know Soju, the lady killer, a fan favorite. Zen, people maybe don't know you as well. Can you talk to the people a little bit? Who are you, and why is everyone so afraid of you?
Why is because you introduced me as an everyone killer, right? That's how you started, right? How you started. Okay. My name is Zen, right? My name is Zen. So I'm one of the. I was in the founding team for Meteora, right? And I was also in Mercurial and part of Jupiter, right? So the reason why most people don't know me is because I deal mainly with product, like I help to drive product, right, and work with the product teams primarily. So I'm in the background. And in fact, this week I've been on more podcasts, videos, recordings than my entire career combined, right, in the past 5 years. So I'm immensely proud of myself, right? I'm proud. So that's me, right? And just very excited to be here, right, in my first Planetary call. Thanks for not inviting me for the past few sessions. I think there's a reason why. But anyway, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I think we have a lot of things that we want to highlight, right? And I think Soju can introduce himself more.
Introduce yourself. This is my
Sorry, just to
20th
be super
from
clear.
Shit, you didn't ask me. So you've been here for 20 times without me.
I mean, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
I want to say the real reason that Zen has not been invited to the call, and this is me being vulnerable right now. I look like a little, 11-year-old boy next to Zen. Please look at our arms next to each other. Like it's humiliating for me, Zen. Only people that are weaker than me are typically allowed on the call. So this is a real.
That's
pleasure to
why
have
I'm
you
on this call. Yeah. Cash, I've been next to him on like 10 calls this week.
Too much. Well, you guys have been going. Honestly, I tweeted this earlier today, and I mean this genuinely, not at all. Just obviously, we're homies at this point, and I have nothing but respect for Meteora. But even outside, as an unbiased observer, it is obvious to me, and I think to many others, that you guys have been smashing it on this pre-TGE kind of roadshow that you guys are doing. Incredible work on the communication side, on the design side, taking big risk side. Like it's incredibly impressive stuff to see. One, to have you on here. We're about 8 days away from your TGE, a massive day. And to give you guys a chance to talk about some of the latest things that have been bubbling through your mind and through the community's mind. And maybe to start off, we can hear a little bit about the kind of story about how you guys went from Mercurial over to Meteora. Zen, what do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let me get started. I think before I jump into the story, it's also important to share some context why it's important to share this story now. Right. So I think because this story has always been inside in me, right, for this long time, and no one really understands where we come from. So it's important, right? It's important to share this now so that everybody can understand what went down, right? What are the challenges we went through, and how we got here, right? And the decisions we make, right? So I think that's also very important, right, for everybody to understand. So how it all started was, not yet, yeah. I mean, it started 5 years ago, right? When Mel and Xiong invited me to the founding team, right, to really start Mercurial. And after we start, we managed to build a small technical team, right, and build an initial product, which is the stablecoin, a multi-token stablecoin, right, on Solana, right. And at that time, it was actually extremely important for us to focus on building up the stable infrastructure on Solana, and so that's what we focus on. Of course, fast forward, right, there are a lot of challenges there, and then we built up the team. The team went through ups and downs, and then we gained a lot of experience through the whole process. And we were pretty excited, right, about all the things that we have built, right? But of course, things are never always smooth sailing, right? So in 2022, December, where the FTX thing happened, FTX crash happened, right? So it became pretty challenging, right, for us to continue on this same trajectory for Mercurial. So we had two choices at that point of time, whether we just stop Mercurial altogether, right, and then focus all our resources onto like Jupiter, right? Because Jupiter at that time was still there's a lot of it was still starting out, right, and there's a lot of potential to grow. So we could focus fire there, or secondly, we could restart, rebuild, rebrand, right, into a new protocol. And of course, it's quite obvious which path we took, right? Each one part of the, and that's where Meteora was born. And to me, it's important because there are two reasons why we started Meteora. And number one is because we have built up a very experienced, right, and strong team throughout the whole process through Mercurial, right? Ups and downs, went through crisis together, and I believe that it was the best position to actually build the next phase of this protocol, right? And number two is that we want to also use with Meteora, it gives us an opportunity, right, to actually recognize and give back to all the stakeholders that have supported us throughout the whole journey for the past few years, right? And last but not least, we are a team of builders, right? Product people. So we still see there's a lot of potential in the LP space, right? So it'll be a waste if we just let it go. So that's why we decided to, okay, Meteora is a great opportunity for us to actually embark on this journey and to build up the products that we initially really wanted to build, right? So that's why we built our very first flagship product, which is a dynamic AMM, dynamic voice, right? For those who are not familiar, it's basically if you deposit liquidity into this dynamic AMM pool, right? The liquidity, instead of sitting there and doing nothing, it will be routed to lending protocols, right? And the lending protocols will generate yield. So the user who deposit the liquidity will be able to get sustainable yield throughout the whole process, right? So that's our very first flagship product that we built.
Yeah, it's actually so cool because that is, people talk a lot about composability in crypto, but it does feel like the Mercurial / Jupiter / Meteora teams are really among the few that are really taking advantage of it in a big way. It's been like kind of at the heart of like this is what a DeFi native approach to product building looks like. And I think it's great. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Interesting that you talk about the composability because that was also one of the key focus at that point of time. So I remember also going to a few places to give some talks at that point of time about attracting people to actually build on top of our infrastructure and our so that we can actually use our liquidity infrastructure to support a lot of other teams, right? So that was the start, right? But of course, fast forward, we're very excited to say that at this point of time, we have a very powerful dynamic suite of AMM pools, right? So we have dynamic AMM, dynamic V2, DLMM, and DBC, right? And more importantly, we also have this extremely awesome LP army, right? So I dare say that is the strongest LP army in the entire space, right? Which initially we started with only 3 people in the community call, right, on a weekly basis, which one person from the community and 2 from the team, right? So, but we continue to show up. Yeah, I still remember those awesome days, and it was quite awesome to see how things have grown so far. And things have grown to a point whereby we are so confident that we decided that maybe TGE is time, right? This guy has been asking me to do TGE for months and months and months, right? And I've been saying that no, we need to get TGE ready first. So finally, we decided that October will be a good time, right? Yeah. And finally, in Apex, we made the announcement that 23rd of October is when it's going to happen. Yeah. So that is the story of how things evolve. Yeah.
Pretty wild. So, I mean, I think for anyone who's not, I know there was a lot of conversation in your community around this. There's been conversation in the Jupiter community around this as well about like, why are these Mercurial stakeholders getting rewarded in some way? Why are they getting some chunk of the Jup tokens? Why are they getting some of the Meteor tokens? The fundamental reason, it sounds like, is that there is no Meteora today without Mercurial yesterday. Is that kind of the basis of it?
Yeah, exactly, right. So, yeah, exactly your point, right? Without the initial support of the Mercurial stakeholders, right, we won't have the initial funds to actually kickstart the entire process, right? And so, in fact, when we did Meteora, one of the first things we did was to set aside the 20%, right, at the point of time. 20% of the MET tokens, which at the point of time, we don't even know we're going to launch a token, right, to set aside for our most stakeholders, right? That was one of the key things that we really wanted to do to show appreciation. Yeah. Then of course, fast forward now we have a lot, right? Sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like the cool part of the story is, to me, like as an outsider, obviously I was not around during this time, is that it shows the kind of like long-term orientation of the team, like that's just kind of like baked into the DNA, right? There's a lot of teams who would just say, hey, fuck you. project didn't work out, we moved on to the next thing and you're gone. But it's like if you're trying to play long-term games with long-term people, this is the kind of way that you ensure that you have like consistent respect and you prove to folks like, hey, we take care of our own. And I think Jupiter has done the same for people that have been around for a while. And I'm sure Meteor is going to continue to do the same as well, which is pretty great. That is the MET to MET story, which I do love to hear. And I think that you should turn that into a children's book because it is a beautiful book. And I'd love to read it to my kid.
Yeah, but always thanks for wishing me for, you always tell me about, I mean, you always congratulate me for my promotion. I still remember. Yeah. That was also part of the story. Yes.
Yes, I remember the first day you were. It was really 12 times in the same day. Congrats on the promotion because it was just one fresh hell after another.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, you guys have gone crazy with it. All right, it's coming up though. The TGE itself is nearly here. Talk to me a little bit and talk to the however many thousands we have, 8,800 people right now on it. Talk to me. Let's talk to them about the TGE. You guys are doing the same thing that everyone else does, right?
Same thing as everyone does. You must not know me. You must not know how much I love pain. Let's talk about the MET TGE. So the MET TGE is not a TGE. A normal TGE means that you sell, maybe the team sells 2 to 5% of supply, everyone gets vested, and then the team raises money and capitalize the project. For Meteor's TGE, we call it a community LGE, which means that the entire community gets instant liquidity day one, gets full access to the Meteor tokens with deep and accessible liquidity. We do this because we love our community, and the community consisting of the mature stakeholders, the LP army, the Jup stakers, got us to where we are today, and the TGE is a celebration for them. It's not a time for us to raise money. We have enough money to build amazing products and ship amazing technology for a long time. And that's what we intend to do, regardless of what happens on 23rd October. So we're very bullish on that, right?
Yes, bullish.
Zen and I we are very clear after October 23, it's back to shipping amazing products, back to shipping stuff that will change the liquidity landscape of Solana. But this time, with a fully aligned community of people who wants to be part of our journey, and everyone gets the tokens. If you help us get to where we are today, you get all our tokens available to you instantly. Yeah.
Oh, it shows we didn't have this deck up. This is we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And I know Justin, Minko, appreciate you. Apologies. We're going to run long. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're new to the call. Zen, you're also new to the call. It always fucking goes long. I'm never on time with this shit. But I have to ask here, this is a bold move, right? I think that the standard playbook is, hey, we have a token. Let's put out 2% float. Let's put out 5% float. Let's have everybody locked up for years and just kind of delay all the pain. And that way, on day one, where there's a very small floating supply for people to buy, the price can go up very high. Right? It just kind of moves. And then what happens after that? Well, that's a problem for another day when it just crashes right back down to earth later on. So you've decided to take like I mean, to my knowledge, you're the only team that's ever done something like this. Talk a little bit about how you came to that decision and how you weighed those trade-offs, because I think that they are substantial.
Yeah, I think it boils down to, I mean, personally, I really want to go back to building products, right? So TGE, I don't want to deal with all the constant unlocks, inflation, and consistent conversations about token value, all these things, right? So to me, it's really, I guess to us, right, it's really about using this TGE as an opportunity to clear any overhang, to start a clean slate. So that's why we want to release everything one shot. This gives the community, all the different stakeholders, the opportunity to choose, right? You're in or you're out, right? As simple as that. If you're out, we really appreciate you being around, but thank you very much, right? So ideally after TGE, who remains are the people who truly believe in what we are building, what we want to do. And from there on, it's up, right? Because I want to focus back on product, right? Building value through product, community, and then constant conversation with this group of people on how to do that. I don't want to spend any time trying to convince people that what we're building is of value. So I believe that this TG is really a start of a new chapter, right? And in order to do that powerfully and strongly, right, we cannot have any more overhangs. And so that's why we decided to just do this thing. And I think we are in a very strong position, and this risk, I think I'm ready to take, right? And I think we are in a very good position to actually get through to a very strong position after TG.
Yeah,
There you.
The
Zen's
amazing
true
thing is that
technology.
when we pitch this to the teams, the full teams align. It's like, oh, let's all do this. It's super bullish. It's the right move.
Yep.
The community, everyone who sort of understands what we're doing has agreed with it. And I think the other thing for us is that while we're also going through this community alignment exercise, we also need to grow because ultimately we need a strong and big community. So this is why I'm very happy to do what we did for the JUP status, giving them all the LP position NFT. So everybody in the Jupiter DAO who receives a MET airdrop will become users of Meteora. And it's my hope to bring that power, that magic of our technology to all of you. And I hope that you join us on the journey to come as well. Yeah.
And just one time for the people in the back, what is it's going to be like 1 or 2 tokens per Jup staker. How much of the supply is going to Jup stakers?
It's 3%. So it's pretty sustainable, pretty good.
Pretty substantial. Yeah. That is some real love. And so the ask here, folks, I've talked about this in the past. When good things happen to the Jupiter community, it's important that we're public, that we're grateful to it, and we help support the project so that more people want to do it into the future. This is the best possible chance to do it. I can promise you this: if you have not used Meteora tech, you're gonna like it the first time you use it. That's why this airdrop is so fucking innovative and cool. Is that the airdrop itself is a way for you to learn how cool the tech is and actually immediately start to increase it because you'll be earning from the fees of the trading volume, like on the second it happens. Like, I mean, I've said it before. At the risk of overly glazing, you guys have been cooking on this, and I think it's pretty amazing. So if you haven't tried it already, you're definitely gonna try it very soon. Let's talk a little bit about the future of Meteora. How are you guys thinking about it on this side?
Yeah, I think everybody here, everybody who watches these calls, everyone who loves Jupiter, loves Solana, loves Meteora, we all want one thing. We all want the future where crypto takes over the world, and we all want crypto to do very well. Where we differ is how we achieve that goal. And I think that Meteora and Jupiter, with this partnership and many more things to come, stands almost the best chance of doing so. If we want to bring forth a tokenized future, we need a few important things. We need core liquidity primitives that actually give you the functionality that TradFi has, but in a permissionless way. We need a distributed, decentralized group of retail liquidity providers who can go where institutions do not want to go and provide liquidity for things that institutions might not want to touch. And lastly, we need innovative teams that push the frontier forward. Teams that bring to life various assets, securities, tradable stuff on Solana, and constantly push the innovation. So Meteora has these three. And thanks to Jupiter, where Jupiter is going after the GDSC, the DAM, and all these initiatives to be the platform that lets you trade everything, we will be the platform that powers everything that can be traded. We are the backbone, and Jupiter is the face. That's how we like to think about it. And that's what we're going to be laser focused on in the next few months. Zen and I and the team will ship countless products to bring even more power to retail, letting them make even more money on chain, or to bring even more opportunities to launchpad teams and do crazy shit on Solana. And I'm so bullish about all of this. And I'm going to spend all my time on it after TGE.
Yeah, I think that what are the other fun things here? Most teams don't love the TGE process, but they get very excited about it. Right? It's like the main thing. I can tell you from first-hand experience talking to the Meteora boys, they are eager to build as well. This is an important kind of way to grow the community. It's an important and promised step in the overall development of Meteora, but the product ideas that they have cooking are, oh my goodness, it's going to get bigger and bigger. Rolly Kosa, let's just answer this. Why do you need another token? Why can't you use Jupiter's Jup?
What? Oh,
I don't know. Asking us?
Asking us?
Yeah, it was meant to be a layup question. I think that's a relatively straightforward answer in my mind is that it's a different product with a different community, a different team, a different use case. The token operates in different ways and kind of works on a separate thing entirely. That's why. It's it'd be interesting if every house had the same address, but it would make it very difficult to get around, right? You kind of need differentiation between different things.
Different stakeholders, different use case, everything. So it's very different. Yeah. So we can't just take Jupiter Jup and then use it to reward our more stakeholders, right? Doesn't make sense.
Well, if you want to give up 20% of your supply for Meteora and another 15% for Meteora Alfie, I'm down.
Then we can stop TGE no need TGE anymore.
Let's lose it in a sense, yes. But I think right now we are all aligned and we're all super bullish about what we're trying to do. There will be 2 tokens, there will be 2 teams, but what we will see is one united push towards a tokenized future. Yeah.
Let's take one or two more questions just while we're here. And Rolly said, fair enough. Sorry for the hard question. All good, Rolly. This is why
No worries.
It's a two-way conversation. That's why we do this in a way that nobody else does, you know? VDMD said, what are the measures taken to prevent dumping on TGE? Anything you want to say on this topic?
Anti-sniping.
If you want to dump, I have made the conditions as perfect, as liquid, as reliable for you to dump. The whole point of TGE is for the right people to stay and the right people who want to sell. And we have designed everything around that. I'm not here to convince people to stay. I'm here to make it as easy as possible for them to leave and also to grow the community by bringing in fresh blood. We have a lot of like things that's hidden out of view that to facilitate this like wider mission.
Yeah. So the question is prevent dumping. So I think the answer is no. We are not preventing dumping.
You can use Jupiter Mobile or Jupiter Jup.ag or Ultra Mode or any trading platform if you prefer that starts with the word Jupiter, and then you can sell if you want. And we are very grateful for anyone who does that.
But hopefully you the people here or anyone listening to this can see what we're trying to do, right? And believe in our mission and stuff like this. And of course, obviously, we don't want you to dump, right? Right. But if you're not on board and you think there's something else, right? Please,
One aligned community,
Yeah. The other, and I think Zen, you started to talk about this idea of the anti-sniper suite that kind of like punishes those who are just buying in the first second and then trying to flip.
And dumping, So that is our tech.
Yeah, there's some protocol level protections against some of that dumping. For people who want to sell, which I think is different from dumping, go with God.
Yeah.
You will find out how it goes for you. Let's just say that. All right. I think that is going to have to be it. I believe in the team. I'm not fucking leaving. NFTG is correct on that. If you want even more Soju, and Lord knows I do, first you can go to his house. He lives at 12. No, you can come to the DeFi series next week, Q&A, same time as this call, next Wednesday, the 22nd. Shout out to the homie Alley Cat, gonna be hosting that. Soju, Mario, and AG are gonna be on that. All right.
Amazing.
Appreciate you guys for coming on. Appreciate you. No? Any last words?
From Zen, yeah.
No, just extremely bullish, and I think I also want to take this opportunity to really thank the work from the team, right? So I think it's not just both of us sitting here, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, there's one whole team sitting behind, just in front. I'm just over there, right? Just working their ass off, trying to get everything ready. Yeah. And thanks this guy for all the bullish energy and for actually pushing me every single.
I have one thing to say. If you are a Jup staker, you want to see how much MET you're gonna get. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. EST, 12 noon UTC, where you see your allocation. See you then. Ooh. And also download Jupiter Mobile, and there might be a surprise for you in the next few hours.
Oh, download Jupiter Mobile, download Jupiter the extension wallet as well, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. All right. Last call. What I missed any alpha says maybe. Yeah, you missed a bunch. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother. You're late on this one. It's been a very alpha-packed call, quite honestly. All right, we've kept Justin waiting. It's very late for where he is. Appreciate you guys. You're smashing it. When you see it, keep an eye on Soju's profile tomorrow. If you are a Jup staker, and by the way, you should be a Jup staker. You're going to be able to see your allocation very soon. All right. Soju, Zen, appreciate you guys. Thanks for staying up. Catch you very soon. Peace, boys.
Bye.
Zen, you want to just stay on? You want to just do the rest of the call together?
No, we are good. Bullish.
We're good. We want to go back to building products.
Okay, fair enough. All right, bye, boys. Oh god, those guys are great. It's like it's chaotic good and like lawful good kind of put together, and I'll let you guys guess which one is which over there. So anyway, with that said, we are going to keep the good times rolling, folks. And next up, we have someone that I've known for a few months at this point. He's been very well known in startup circles for quite some time. But mostly tonight, you're going to be shocked at how nice his camera is. I got to say, please drop a little JM in the chat for our guy, Justin Waldron here, the founder of Open Game Protocol and Zynga. Before that, Justin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Kash. How's it going?
It's going all right. I know it is very late for you. I appreciate you.
No,
and we
I
were
was
very
tired,
late.
but then I watched that and I'm wide awake now. You guys got me fired up. So.
That's good to hear. Well, we got 11,000 people and change checking in right now. People are already saying, "What is that camera quality?" He's a good-looking guy. Justin, definitely want to talk about Open Game Protocol, but obviously, got to start off. People they might not know Open Game Protocol, just launched very recently. We'll hear about that. I'm pretty sure basically all of them would know about Zynga. Can you give us just a minute on the kind of transition from how you went from one of the largest Web2 startups in the world and founding that, and now found yourself into crypto? How did you actually get hooked into the Web3 bug?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who don't know Zynga, we started out by building social games, and that was games on social platforms like Facebook back in the day. And there were a lot of other social platforms back then too, most of which are gone now. And me and my co-founders were just excited about building games on these new social networks because they connected people in new ways, right? So the idea was pretty simple, which is like, we don't know exactly how games should work on this, but we know that something new and interesting is going to come from this. So we bet on it early and we bet on it hard, and then we built tons of games. Lots of them didn't work. Some of them became very big. And when all was said and done, I think 1 billion people across the world played our games. We had games that had 40 or 50 million DAU, or daily active users, just by themselves. So it was huge, and it's still quite big. So we IPO'd it in 4 years. Then later on, it merged with Take-Two, who are the publishers of Grand Theft Auto. So that's more recently. And the one learning that I had from this was like, well, we were never media company people. Myself, like I'm not a person who dreams up like the next great, beautiful indie game. I'm more someone who approaches things from the lens of technology. And so naturally, like I got involved in social network APIs early because it was a new way to connect people. And then when I saw crypto, like it's kind of the same opportunity, right? It's another new way to reorganize and rearrange the way that games can be created and monetized. So I've been spending a lot of time in the space since like the earliest days, the sort of metaverse bull run days with things like Decentraland and CryptoKitties and the team at Immutable. So I've been advising a lot of projects over the years, but we haven't really shipped anything that we thought could contribute like at a foundational level to what's going on here. So that's what we're excited to do with Open Game Protocol.
Incredible. And I think that people will see very shortly that a lot of that same kind of energy, that same expertise, that same kind of skill set being redeployed into the Web3 space over here. So let's just start with the kind of high level stuff. What is Open Game Protocol for those people who don't actually know?
Yeah, it's actually really basic. So we just started with this idea of like, where is the white space for games inside of crypto? And actually, if you think about it, like what ideas would look obvious in hindsight? And we realized that if you go and look inside of a wallet or coin market cap, what have you, Jupiter, and you see all these actions you can do with tokens, everything revolves around tokens, right? The most successful protocols are built around the composability of how do you do more interesting new things with the tokens people already have. And this is interesting because everyone recognizes this in DeFi. This is what DeFi is all about. But GameFi has been very focused on the opposite, which is just making new assets within new games. And so although the entire space realizes that DeFi is all about composability and working with existing tokens, there's been almost nothing that's really been tried in this space. So it's very surprising that you have top tokens like a fart coin and you just can't play a game to earn it. And it seems like it would be obvious in hindsight if there was your favorite wallet had a play button next to the fart coin chart to go play fart coin games, that people would enjoy that. They'd check the price, they'd go play some fart coin games, earn some fart coin, and go around. They'd have more engagement in the wallet. They'd have more new ways to onboard and be excited about new communities. And the communities, the token communities themselves, would have ways to keep attention on their project and a new way of distributing to more token holders. So the more we started thinking about this problem, we felt like why hasn't someone built this yet? What are the incentive alignment problems that are out there? And how do we start to build something that can connect these different groups? You have the players, they want to play, they want to earn these top tokens they've actually heard of, not assets that they don't know about or haven't heard of. You have traders who want exposure to new growing ecosystems. So how do we give them that without saying, hey, traders, like you also have to go and play these games for 6 hours a day to sort of get the same yield as a player. That's been another problem that's kind of shown up in GameFi time and time again. And then finally, game developers. A lot of them don't want to launch a token, but we've had this design that's really just saying like, hey, we have virtual currency on mobile games. We've got virtual goods. Virtual currencies become cryptocurrencies. Virtual goods become NFTs. It sounds too easy. And I think if it sounds too good to be true, sometimes it is. Like, I think that model has been very challenged because we're just taking like the previous model that worked with freemium and we're kind of shoving it into crypto. And you know, it's been at this point, there's been enough attempts at that I think a lot of people are kind of waiting for something new. Now, there's a lot of smart people in games. So like, I'm not saying we shouldn't have tried those things. And I think like there was a bunch of early success. So there were reasons for people to invest a ton in that area. But we just think it's time to try something different, like something organic, ground up sort of capital formation and virality. That is what makes crypto, we think, like the most unstoppable, powerful force that we've created in technology in 15 years. We want to see that applied to games. So the real thing here is like we make tokens playable. Imagine any token, now there can be a play button for it. And then the protocol orchestrates the incentives to make that possible.
I think before we talk about how this actually works in practice, I do want to shout out, I don't know if I'm notorious for this, but I've certainly been known to shit on Web3 gaming as a category for many of the reasons that you just articulated. It's like, it does not seem like people want it. It does not seem like game developers want to do it, but VCs kind of like just threw endless piles of money at these games. By the way, some of them are great, like Star Atlas. I think it's actually very cool and fun, whatever else. But like by and large, as a sector, it really did just kind of copy and paste. And it's the same thing of putting, you know, you take a newspaper, you just put it on a screen, and you call that the internet. And it really doesn't do enough service to the kind of open, composable nature of crypto with incentive alignment and so on that I think Open Game Protocol can have. So purely at a problems being solved level, I think this is like a really interesting experiment over here. Let's talk a little bit about how it works. And in particular, I know in the chat, we've had a few questions around some of the rewards and how that actually works as well. So take people through how do the game coins actually work with JUP as an example here.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like there have been some great games. So, and a lot of people doing interesting stuff. I think what's challenging is it's really hard to make a good game and it's really hard to make a great asset. And when you kind of multiply the probabilities here, that's the thing that's become very difficult. And for a lot of traders, like speculating on one asset's or one game's outcome is kind of something it's difficult. We know the odds for individual games are low. That's just the nature of entertainment. You know, not every tweet, not every video, not every game is going to resonate every time. And so it's really about like, how do you get strength in numbers, right? What makes Solana so great as an ecosystem is it's permissionless innovation. Like somebody shows up tomorrow and does something that makes the price of Sol go up hugely because of something we didn't expect. Someone came out of nowhere and added value to the ecosystem in that way. Games have never had that kind of innovation, permissionless innovation that we've seen in like the most successful ecosystems. So that's what we're trying to bring to each token. The first thing that we need to do is we need to come up with a mechanism for these existing tokens to basically get capital aligned and excited about this protocol. And the way that we do it is we've created a new way to launch a game ecosystem token for existing tokens. And so what I mean by this is that we have these game coins. You can imagine in this case, we're showing like the Jupiter game coin. The Jupiter game coin, when it's traded, can actually create a larger reward pool that then goes to pay game developers, game distributors, and game players, as well as stakers. And the way to think about these game coins is that if you're a trader, you can buy the game coin because you believe in the Jupiter game ecosystem. And when you do, you can stake it and you can earn a yield. But also when you're staking, you can decide where some of the other yield goes in the reward pool. And so you can select the games that you think best represent the Jupiter game ecosystem, which is interesting because this is kind of like a decentralized publishing model. The other huge problem in games that I think people who are outside of the industry are probably like just a little bit less aware of is the way these decisions are made around how to do collaborations between brands that have companies that can collaborate in ways that are mutually beneficial. And what's really interesting about this is like by being a Jupiter game coin holder, you can decide where the most rewards go to, which is where most of the attention will go to on these games. So together we can govern like what is the right game ecosystem for Jupiter. Now, it also answers the question of why other people will also want to buy these later on. So a lot of people don't really think about this, and it's kind of one of the funny secrets of the internet. Is funded by like probably adult video, games, and e-commerce. You take away those three things, and the whole thing collapses, right? So if you look at like the trillion-dollar companies that exist out there, aside from NVIDIA making the AI chips, they're basically advertising companies actually. So Meta and Google, yes, they have other products, but primarily they're to gather the engagement to serve you ads. And within those categories, gaming is like often half of all of their revenues for their companies. They don't like to say that. Like, Meta doesn't want to say, half of our business is just advertising these games where people actually spend money and then it flows through the whole ecosystem. But that is the reality of the situation. And so what does that mean? It means 65 billion is spent on mobile games ads every single year. So I'm not talking about revenue. I'm talking about
sorry, $65 billion is spent on mobile game ads a year.
Yeah. $65 billion is spent on mobile game ads every year.
Wow.
This is what makes the internet economy go around. This and e-commerce are the things that fund these advertising behemoths. So there's a company called AppLovin. It's a $150 billion game distribution company. So my last company, $15 billion, biggest mobile game studio in the world. AppLovin, mobile game distributor, $150 billion. Like I should have spent less effort making games and went and figured out how to distribute games, right? So, and by the way, AppLovin, I mean, they're huge. They're a pure play game advertising company, but they're not. I mean, Google and Facebook are the ones that make the most money off of games. So
true.
We just don't break out. We don't think about how big that part of their business is. So what we're doing in the long run, the way that you can think about this is the more places these games end up distributed, you can imagine going in your favorite wallet and hitting a play button next to the Jupiter token to play games. This becomes a channel that games can get in front of great users, great players inside of these wallets and in other places. And then that becomes an ad network actually that feels good because it's high intent. Like I'm looking at the Jupiter chart. I like Jupiter. Of course I want to play a Jupiter game. It doesn't feel like an ad to a user, but we're paying the wallet to distribute to these other users. So in the long run, this is like the game companies who are spending 65 billion every year can start to look at these token communities we built as a place that's an alternative to spending $3 to $5 per user on Facebook. And they can start to shift some of their ad budget over here. So the real way to think about this is like, what would a crypto native game ad network look like? What is a crypto native version of AppLovin, the $150 billion company I mentioned before? And then how do we actually make that organically ground up, created, and owned by a community? Because this is like an actual crypto native protocol that we think everybody should be owning. So you can go to the next slide.
Yep.
The Jup game coin is available to be launched now. What it will take to launch it will be staking enough Jupiter to have everyone vote to launch it. And that's important because we want the community to be part of choosing to launch these when they're ready to launch it. And for the people that are most excited about this concept to go and be part of the launch. And if you are one of the people who stakes into launching Jupiter Game Coin, then you will receive some of the game coin supply when it launches. And you'll be able to participate in the upside of this ecosystem. So just wanted to talk about how the flywheel works for a second. It's pretty interesting. So there's some trading fees that are happening when the Jupiter Game Coin is trading. And those trading fees are actually going back to fund the reward pool's treasury, where we're able to do purchases of Jupiter. So how are we rewarding these players real Jupiter? Because the trading of the game coin can actually continue to fund the reward pool that makes that possible. Now, there's also some token supply set aside when the game coin launches that creates a larger reserve. But the goal is also to use the trading fees to make this sustainable in perpetuity. And of course, distributing more games to more players gets more attention for the Jupiter token. So that could be a great marketing channel for Jupiter token itself. But as the game coin grows, there's a higher bounty for the game creators who can make games. And so we'd expect more games and higher quality games to continually show up as the price of a game coin like the Jupiter game coin grows. And then the larger the rewards that get distributed to each player, or through each game to players, the more traffic we'd expect to these games as people are excited about going and earning the token. So you can see how that can be a very virtuous flywheel where more games, more players, more price means more games, more players, more price. That's what we're trying to do here, is like basically have the token itself lead to the outcome that could be enabled by like the traders getting excited about this token and the long-term potential of it.
I think that like there's been a few things you've actually said that have kind of blown my mind, and I think I saw in the chat of kind of affected some other folks as well. First is it's kind of like the size of the opportunity here. I think, quite frankly, like I was sleeping on it, which is crazy because we've talked a bunch of times as well. I never really had like numbers put to it that made the scale of the opportunity here so large. That's the first thing that I think is great. The second thing that I think is so cool is this kind of like flywheel that starts to put everything into play and kind of builds this kind of robust ecosystem. Now, obviously, with any flywheel, the hard part is getting it started and getting it moving. But once it's moving, it just kind of accelerates of its own motion. And the third thing that I love is it basically turns like every token kind of into like a utility token, right? Like any token that has this kind of gaming ecosystem around it has a natural and continuous cycle of like kind of new attention, energy, and potentially funding as well. They can then help that token as well. The fact that people right now, if you have Jup, you can go and actually stake to help release the game coin is a cool way as well to kind of like reward early participants in here. So this is a lot of very cool stuff. I know, obviously, like if we just boil it down, it comes down to play games, earn rewards, I suppose. Yeah. One other thing, you had told me this, I think, when we met back in Tokyo. Can you tell the people just like something about the scale of the gaming developer ecosystem that you've already kind of lined up around Open Game Protocol? Because obviously that's one clear bottleneck, right? If there's no games, then the fuck are we doing here?
Well, first of all, no pitch would be complete without mentioning AI. So I'll just say the word AI.
Okay.
And then now I'll explain why I think it's interesting here. So this is actually the ultimate AI play for games, and here's the reason. So 2 years ago, if you were to say like how many people are going to go and build Jupiter games, the task at hand to go and build Jupiter games would have been much, much larger, right? So we're making it easier on the integration side. How do you get the rewards? How do you aggregate these games and get them played by people? But the building side would have been a lot more expensive. What a lot of people don't know is there's already millions of good games actually that exist, but most of them don't make a profit. And what they're looking for is a new way to distribute. And some of these games are actually really, really good, but they can't advertise profitably on like the Facebook ad channel or something. So because they have a great game that makes $2 per user and the cost of a user is $3, their game will never be played by anyone simply because of this math. They cannot advertise the game profitably. Doesn't matter if it's the most fun game you've ever played, the greatest game you've ever played. It will never grow because they need to use the ad channels to grow, and it doesn't grow profitably. So the opportunity that creates for us is like this mechanism creates a new way of giving a lot of these games new life. And so what we've seen is a ton of developers that are actually really interested in taking this amazing game they spent 2 years building and using AI to reskin these games and make them into something that's more representative of the ecosystem, right? So first off, I think there's going to be a lot of that. The second thing that's quite interesting is there are AI game creation vibe coding tools that are starting to pop up everywhere. And they're actually like different, each one of them has their own sort of things they're focused on. Some are focused on building multiplayer games, and there are many different angles to attack games. It's such a broad design space, but many of them are going to start integrating Open Game Protocol to allow the games to publish right into the protocol. And so what I mean by that is we have a partner that should be launching maybe today or tomorrow, where that you can literally go to their site to make a game, check a box that says, I want token rewards. And when you publish it, now it's you tag the tokens you want to reward, and from their site, they're publishing these games. The users are getting, the game creators are earning the rewards directly on their site. So the wrong way to look at what we're doing is like the Steam of Web3 or I don't know, a game portal. Like what we're really looking to do, and if you go to the website, is focus on the governance of launching these game coins, and then the staking piece of deciding where the rewards go. And then we want to work with a bunch of partners who send more game content into the ecosystem, whether it's on our site or not. And where most of the games will be played will actually be outside of our site through our many distribution partners that are going to be launching soon. So the real way to think about this is like, we don't think the Steam of Web3 is Steam. Like if you go look at how clients work in Web3, you look at wallets. We already know that this model that we've ended up with is one where there are many places to access your favorite tokens and to do things with them. And we think that that's how games have to work too. So yeah, if you go to our site and you're like, hey, this doesn't look like Steam, that's intentional. You know, and what you'll have to keep an eye on is just where these games start showing up, and then the partners that we have that make like building these games and creating these games at scale happen.
Sorry, the fart coin sound started playing. Yeah, so people can start to go check this out right now. I definitely encourage people to check it out. Obviously, do your own research, but I think the vision is damn exciting. It's the first kind of like real credible experiment that we've seen, I think, in Web3 gaming that has the potential to use the native benefits of crypto and blockchain rails to actually improve things by kind of aligning incentives in the right way. So if you have some jupe and you like this kind of vision of this pure play or this ability to kind of benefit from AI, this ability to kind of reshape the way that this distribution happens and games are actually created, go check it out. You can stake your jupe to be a part of it, and you'll earn some of the rewards of you'll earn 20% of the game coin supply as well, and get your original stake back. And I think that's all we had here. I'll tell people this was meant to be like a 5 to 10 minute segment, but Justin's got a lot of great insights here, so we ended up going a little bit long.
Sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to go so long.
I mean, it's my own fault as well, asking the questions, but I was genuinely interested, and I think this is unlike a lot of things that we've seen before. One of the things we try to do on these calls as well is kind of like, you know, help educate the community, turn them on to like new game, new metas, new ideas that are like kind of evolving in the space. And I think anyone that's been paying attention for the last little bit just learned a lot. So, Justin, last question for you here. What is like the one action people should take next after watching all this?
Yeah, one action is like go stake tokens on your favorite token to get the game coin to launch. And I'm guessing for most of you that's Jupe, and maybe soon to be MET. But that's the biggest thing you can do. But of course, like, you know, anything that you think is interesting, right? Like this isn't just for meme coins. I think Jupiter will be really interesting. You guys have an amazing cat mascot that everybody loves. There's a lot of ways to. It's not just the characters, right? It's the vibe. It's anything you can get excited about, and you can see this in the long run as just like a great way of us distributing these tokens much more broadly. So this isn't just about. I talked a lot about marketing games. This is also a lot about marketing tokens. And if we think about the holder bases for some of these tokens, they're quite small. You know, Trump token has 700,000 holders. We've got games that a billion people played. Like let's get these tokens inside some games that go viral. And the next narrative could be that we 10x the holder bases of these tokens. That's something that we want to be a part of.
Very cool. People asking for the URL in the chat. Wilson, we got you. It's opengameprotocol.com. Go check it out. Justin, thanks so much for coming on, buddy. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. God damn. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool stuff, I got to say. Damn interesting, damn fun. For folks, we're not done yet. We got one last segment. You know we cannot leave without doing a little Cadet Corner. And today, we got somebody who's a long time in the community. Please drop a little JM. She's got new headphones just for this call. Say hello to Minko, ladies and gentlemen. Minko, what's up?
Hey everyone. Can you hear me, Kash?
I can. Wow,
Okay,
look, you got
great.
a light up
Oh my
mic
God.
and light up ears. That's
Matching?
pretty amazing stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matching.
How are you,
yeah.
Kash?
Oh, you know me. I'm another day in paradise, I gotta say. The chat says hello. Bjork says hello. Sunburst AG and many others. Let's talk a little bit about who you are for those who don't know. I think most people would have seen you around, but actually, maybe let's start this off a little bit differently. How did you get here? What was the journey to get to in front of 13,000 people on the Planetary call in this mid-October night?
Okay, so basically I got into the Jupiverse, right? Good story. Honestly, I was actually a long while in the Web3 place and crypto place, mostly just as an artist. My cousin pulled me in because he knew I was like good in it, and he was like, dude, they're like these types of meme coins, and they make like contests and you can win money off of it, or like tokens, coins, etc. So he pulled me in, and I've joined a couple contests, won a lot of contests, and then I got pulled into a meme coin. I drew for them for a long while, and they introduced me to Drip. And that was literally the perfect timing. I was like drawing for them, and I also had my own account on Drip and posted a lot of drawings, a lot of everything. And then the Drip X Jupiter contest happened. And at that time, I was still kind of a nobody, like very low following, very, just around. And I joined the contest. I dropped like 2 drawings, I think. Yeah, 2. One animation, one drawing, if I'm not wrong. And I sadly lost it, which is okay. Happens. But I won something. I won Meow's attention. And at that time, getting like, honestly, I didn't know about the Jupiverse. I didn't know Meow as well. But when I saw that he liked my post, I had to research him up. I wrote down, oh, okay, he's a CEO, obviously. So I was like, you know what? As a thank you.
Oh, is it? Oh,
as a
it
thank
does
you.
introduce me actually. I know mostly as a cat, but okay, CEO as well. Yeah.
Yeah, by the time I got to know cats, but I, as a thank you, I drew his profile picture because I was like, CEO using a AI image as a profile picture, and I was like, you know what, let me just restyle it in my style, make it better. And obviously I didn't expect anything in return. I didn't expect anything, not a like, comment. I didn't even expect him to see it, but it happened. I posted it. Not only did he like it, not only did he save it, Kash, he posted it, he made a poll. Well, that made me very happy. And he's still using it, I think, right? He's still using it. And that gave me the feeling, you know what, I need to look more into what this is, the Jupiverse. So then I met RJ on X. RJ pulled me into the Discord of Jupiverse. And then fast forward, I was still drawing, obviously. I was talking a lot in the chats in there, and there was a call, I think, in Discord. I was not able to send any GIFs. I think that's how it happened. I met Monique then, and then Monique made me into a cadet to send GIFs again, I think. I don't know. And fast forward, that's how it went. I drew for regionals, a lot of stuff, and got a chance to also Geo. I was also working for Geo, Jupe merch, yeah. Just doing a lot of things, being here and there, creating a lot of volume. Yeah, it's very cozy here, very welcoming.
It is very cozy. It is
Yeah.
very welcoming. I didn't actually know it was Monique that made you into a
Oh
cadet.
yeah, you didn't know? Yeah, she did. I was surprised.
Yeah, no.
Well, thank you to Monique. Honestly, there's some shout outs. RJ,
Oh,
Monique,
yeah.
Ali, like who else? Aulia, a lot of amazing people. You guys should check them out. Yeah, honestly, me being here is also because of the connections I made with these people. A lot of wonderful people here.
Gotcha. Well, I gotta say there are too many wonderful people, and lately you've been actually working with 2 wonderful people in particular. For those who don't know, can you tell them what you've been up to with the boys?
Well, so basically, recently I started to work with AG and Ali on the community side of things. Yeah. Basically, the focus here, for me, the focus there is to be the creative direction for the community, and working on a lot of community projects, obviously, that I cannot name any yet. They will come. And yeah, basically, for starters, just bridging creativity with the community, basically. And obviously, there's so much more than I just mentioned. But yeah, it's a very good dynamic with them. I love working with them. We're vibing. We understand each other. It's perfect.
I gotta say, there's some good stuff coming out of it as well. Tell me this: what do you? I don't know. I don't want to spoil Alley Cat's thunder. I don't want to get upset about the next stuff that's happening. People are already saying the next call Kash has to get the ears.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some kind of. I shouldn't say. I'll say when when the desktop wallet hits 1 million downloads, then I'll wear those ears. So go out there and shill it, folks. I'm already regretting that. Please do not clip that. I am immediately very, very weird about that. Anyway, okay, let's give like one little bit of alpha. Where's Ali? He's actually in the chat right now, my guy Wise. Let's just give a tiny little bit of alpha. There's a community reset or a community fresh start coming up, as I alluded to in my own post, that Ali Cat's going to be driving. Is there anything in particular? I mean, obviously, you know a lot of the plans there. Is there anything in particular you're excited to see come out of that fresh start?
Honestly, all of the plans are exciting. But one thing that we're working on currently, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but I'll just say it. We're making a new Discord layout, which I'm excited for, honestly. I also made some graphics explaining like what each section is about. But yeah, that's just one thing. Just one small thing of everything. But yeah, I'm excited of everything, every plans that we're thinking about.
I think that's pretty good. New Discord layout is on the way. Ali Cat, be mad at Minko, not at me. I didn't say it. I would never dream to say it before it's alive. I would never give any alpha like that. No, I'm just joking, Minko. I think that's it's good for people to know. The people that there's cool things coming to the Discord. I mean, you guys have gone through I don't know how many iterations on what the channel should be, what the layout should be, how things should be organized, and so on. It has been really quite intense. Well, I'll tell you what, Minko, we're past the hour-and-a-half mark, and before anyone yells at me, we should start to wrap it up. But I always ask everybody the same question. What is one piece of advice that you have for anyone who's watching this call, who's kind of on the edge of getting involved in the Jupiter community? What's the best way to start to get involved?
There was this one quote I heard from someone, I forgot his name, but it went like this. To be out anywhere, no matter where, you have to create so much volume that you can't be overseen. Like, even when you're gone, you're still there. Your name is still there. Your work is still there. Your creations, just like, I know a lot of cadets have been saying that in the cadets corner. You have just to create, just make, just be out there. You don't need how to say it, you don't need a lot of money, a good setup. Like, I started off with a 20 euro drawing pad, and my old PC worked wonders. And you just have to continue, and most importantly, make connections. Make connections. You have to talk to people. You have to be out there, message supporters, mods, all the cadets. Just talk to them, because I wouldn't be here without the connections that I've made. I like, if a millionaire has no connections and he loses all of his money, where's he gonna go? To who's he gonna talk to? So I'm thankful for all of that, and yeah.
That is good. I think that's very good advice.
Oh yeah.
Just DM people. Oh, go ahead.
I have one more guest that has to be on here.
Oh, okay.
Two, maybe. Two. 1 second.
If she pulls out Meow, will people lose their minds? Will people's heads actually explode if Meow just pops his little Singaporean face in there? 2 cats will call it out. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Pork, that's a good prediction market on that. Was it close at 100%? Oh, look at those guys. Very cute.
Oh.
What are their names? The names are Meow and Siong, or what'd you name?
So his name is Loki. He's a bit different. Nice. Yeah, his ears are a bit weakened, this breed.
Okay.
He's also very very big. And this is Aslan. Look how beautiful. Aslan. Yeah. Turkish
like
name.
Yeah. Aslan, also Lion, the Witch, in the Wardrobe? Maybe?
Yeah. It means lion, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Those are the special guests.
Well, I'm glad to see it. The chat lit up immediately. They are going to make meme coins of your cats starting right now. So enjoy that. I don't think you should never have named your pets in public. But in any case, Minko. Sorry, I'm so allergic to cats even through the screen.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for everything you do in the community.
Thank you, Kash, for
pleasure
having me.
to have you. People, stay tuned. Minko's got some big things cooking. I can promise you that. You'll hear it probably next week. Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Woo! All right. 90 minutes in. Killer call. My God. What all did we go through today? Folks, we went through, hold on. Let's make it big on the boy here. We went through a bunch of stuff that's happened in the past 2 weeks. Announced a stablecoin, desktop wallet out there. JLP loans is getting better and better. Perps P&L cards, 250x leverage, and much more. Portfolio, quality of life updates. Mobile, $115,000 of Pengu up for grabs if you are a large Pengu holder and you migrate into Jupiter Mobile, and much more. That's just in the last 2 weeks. Then we talked about some major changes coming to Jupe, doing it for the token holders out there who've been with us, riding or dying, even when it has not been easy. Those 3 major changes are scaling back the DAO, narrowly focusing on only the big stuff, so fewer votes, no work groups, reducing that unstaking window from 30 days down to 7 days in the coming weeks, and finally burning the Litterbox subject to a DAO vote. So stay tuned on that. Got to hear about MET, got some alpha on MET and the MER to MET story. Got to hear from Justin and learned a fuck ton about games and how they work on chain with Open Game Protocol. And then got, of course, Minko and Catdets Corner. Marino says planetary calls just never fail. I gotta say, this was a good one. This was a good one. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm delighted to have you. But I got one little last piece of news for everybody here. Let me just say this real quick. Boom. Q3 token holder report coming out next week, probably Tuesday. Don't hold me to that. I don't know. Things might change a little bit, but probably Tuesday. Q3 token holder report up only. We were among the first to do this, bringing professionalism and transparency to the token, telling you everything about the business, the growth, the product metrics, where we're heading next. You're going to see that. That's going to be bullish. I'll tell you that right now. With that said, thank you all very much for joining. You do not have to go home, but you cannot stay here, my friends. Please go spam, retweet that post of mine on the Fresh Start for JUP as well. If you haven't already, let the world know that we're coming from them all right now. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Goodbye.